So it's day 5 of vlogging every day of the week. I've made it through to Friday. I've done the full week of vlogging every single day. Super stoked that I made it through. I pushed through, kept things kind of simple for this first week. I didn't want to try and take on too many new things, implement too many new things into my existing workflows. So yeah, super stoked I made it. Super stoked on the systems that I've got down, from filming the raw vlogs to doing some brief editing, doing the color grading, taking out the pauses, uploading it to YouTube, creating all the descriptions and all of those sort of things. Started to keep up with my social media posting for myself and for Cape Town's Most Wanted 4x4. So yeah, I'm super stoked. I'm pretty happy with my progress during the week. Also, my talking to the cameras already improved, and that's kind of one of my biggest goals with the whole vlogging, is just to become more comfortable with the camera, get more into the so-called creator economy. Yeah, I feel like there's not too many creators specifically doing vlogging from Cape Town. So at least in terms of finding a little bit of a niche, hopefully I have one here in Cape Town. And yeah, also just like to keep things quite broad as well. I have a lot of interests. That's one of the things, is it's always a challenge or a balance between thinking super expansively and trying to keep things simple. The reason why it's important that you keep things simple is, I know, I feel like you just don't want to overwhelm yourself. As soon as you overwhelm yourself with all of these responsibilities, all of these ideas that you have to accomplish, it is good to have those grand ideas, but it's also important to systematically work towards those grand ideas. But my goal for today is to start to integrate more of my AI systems. I already mentioned I started to use GenSpark yesterday, and that platform really seems great. Between GenSpark and ChatGPT, I think I'll be able to do a majority of my AI work, and those will be the main 2 tools in my workflow for now. What I'm going to do today is carry on from what I did yesterday, which is just building all the documents of the entire chat history that I've had so far with ChatGPT. The reason why I do like ChatGPT so much is it is definitely, from what I found, the most conversational AI. And then you can use other AI platforms when it does come to research and those sort of things. But what I'm also going to do today with GenSpark is they have this thing called AI Docs. So you can add in all your documents there. It's similar to what ChatGPT has knowledge files in its project and in its custom GPTs. So I'm going to work on populating the AI docs in GenSpark today, then starting to figure out what other features GenSpark has to offer and how it can fit into my workflow. Yeah, I'm kind of doing what I already described earlier, where when I started to get into AI, I was thinking really expansively. I was trying a lot of things. I was trying to build apps. I was trying to learn automations. I was trying to learn so many things that actually I realized don't fit into my goals and what I want to be doing with my life, which is filming, vlogging, and using AI to make me more efficient at what I do in those pursuits. So like I've already mentioned, I'm waiting for all the AI editing platforms to come out so I can focus more on creating, more on what I love to do, and then let AI do a lot of the legwork and things that I don't really want to spend all of my days editing. I find like there's quite a balance between being a filmmaker and an editor. It's hard to do both. First of all, filmmaking is quite a time consuming task, and editing is even more so because when you film for a couple minutes a day, it's one thing, but watching all that footage back, sorting it into its folder, deleting unusable clips, all those sort of things, that's just one aspect that I already do. But then when it comes down to editing, making these crazy high-paced edits, which social media has made us move more towards, gravitate towards. But for me, that's not my type of filmmaking. My type of filmmaking is around just things being more cinematic, if you'd say, just looking good. I just love colors and those sort of things, just things that are pleasing to the eye. So yeah, I'm gonna get my things lined up. I'm gonna get all my folders open. I'm gonna open ChatGPT. I'm gonna open GenSpark. I'm gonna start populating all those documents, adding them to the AI docs section in GenSpark. What I'm also gonna do today is I'm going to edit all the project instructions for all the projects that I've created, because now that I've created a whole bunch of prompt frameworks and all of those sort of things, all my current project instructions don't line up with how I need the GPT or the GPT in the specific project to be processing the knowledge files that I've uploaded, and how it needs to interact with me to help me become the most efficient person that I can be in all of my pursuits. So yeah, it's just so exciting. Every new day, there's so many new AI platforms that are coming out that become super overwhelming. So I'm hoping that through my journey with how I'm trying to learn these platforms, that it will benefit some people out there, whether they watch my video or not, whether I start doing some newsletters and stuff in the future. We'll see where it all goes. But yeah, I'm going to get prepped and ready, and I'll come back here once I've got my computer out and I'm starting to integrate the two platforms, which are ChatGPT and GenSpark. Okay, so because I've been not only just focusing on the vlogging, but some of my exercise devices have unfortunately broken in the past couple of weeks. So I have been slacking off on my training. So I'm going to take today as a little bit of an opportunity not to do anything major, just to get my body moving, because of course it's essential to move your body, do some exercise. One of the key things about doing exercise is it releases BDNF in the brain. That's brain-derived neurotrophic factor that helps to repair your brain. It helps to make you feel much better. So a lot of the times, don't think about exercise as being something for your physical health, but something for your mental health. And that's something really, really important to me, is doing whatever you can for your mental health and performance. Spent many, many years not prioritizing mental health, but right now, everything I do is focused on mental health, whether it be my exercise routines, my diet, my supplementation. Everything is focused on mental health. And since I've made all of the changes, the biggest changes being waking up early and spending the first hour of my morning focusing on myself, doing the important things that allow me to progress each day. And they're not things like necessarily learning new things, but it's as simple as I wake up, first 20 minutes, I meditate. I use the Waking Up app for that because I found it's the one way that I can feel pretty immediate benefits from meditation. If you're just trying to learn to meditate on your own, it becomes really hard to feel the impacts that the meditation's having on your daily life. Then I do 20 minutes of journaling, or it's not a fixed 20 minutes, but I basically just write a page in my journal. And what I've also noticed is as I've made progress over the past couple months in my life, it went from just journaling about negative things, like what I felt sorry about, why I was feeling sorry for myself, everything that was going on in my life. And now when I journal, it's just positive thoughts, it's gratitude, it's what I'm excited about for the day. And yeah, just by creating that, but not only creating, but solidifying my morning routine, my whole outlook on life has changed. And that's why I'm even here today. I wouldn't be this dedicated, motivated, all of those similar words if I had not spent the time to work on myself. And the other thing is, the only thing that actually drove me to start working on myself was hitting rock bottom. I feel like I was going to just keep coasting by until I hit that rock bottom. I was actually, in a way, waiting for myself to hit that rock bottom so I could have the space for change in my life and for improvement. So yeah, I'm just feeling really, really good about everything, really good about myself. Again, I've let exercise kind of come when I have the time for it, because my mental health has been the most important thing. Third thing I do in the morning is I read for 20 minutes. I use an app called Headway, but there's also apps like Blinkist that are just providing short summaries of books, and it just gives you the key points. And a lot of the time I like to read self-help books, and just seeing the progress that I've personally made myself without the input of these books, and then reading these books and realizing that that's exactly what I've done, just makes me feel even better about myself and how far I've come recently. But yeah, let me get started with my exercise. All my exercise routines are based around full body health, not about necessarily being in the best shape, but looking after my joints, looking after my back, because I used to struggle with immense back pain that I couldn't even get out of bed for. But also, one of the things that got rid of the back pain was actually doing energetic work, realizing that a lot of your stress and suppressed emotions can get caught up in certain joints, certain muscles, and all those sort of things. I'm not going to go into all that woo-woo stuff, but when you feel a change like I felt from something as simple as going for a session, it just opens up your mind to the world of possibilities and so many things that, again, as a person growing up in a society that's all based around achievements, those sort of things are really overlooked. And so yeah, all of my exercise is based around joint health, mobility, and being able to excel and enjoy the sports that I love to do, which are surfing, are all water sports related activities. And yeah, it's just super, super important to me for look after my mental health, physical health, emotional health, spiritual health. And just from a good morning routine, you can cover all those bases. So yeah, let me get into my pull-ups. So what I do is, this is like one of my kind of like warm-up sessions, is I always contrast pull-ups with hanging. So my whole theory behind that, I come up with a lot of my own theories, is you're decompressing your spine from your shoulders. And then when you're doing your hanging and doing sit-ups, then you're decompressing your spine the other way. So again, like I said, all of my exercise routines are based around joint health and mobility. And that's why I love specifically the contrast of pull-ups to sit-ups. So let me get started, and you'll see a little bit, I guess, of what I do. So when I do my pull-ups, all about slow and controlled. I do 5 at a time. I try to go about 2 to 4 seconds up, 2 to 4 seconds down. So you see, I start off 5 wide grip, then I switch to my, what do you call this? What's it called? Decompression, something like that. But yeah, so then I do my 5 or 6 of these. Well, I basically start off, basically go 3, 4, and then on the 5th one, I hold as long as I can. For some reason, it also hurts your quads while you're doing that one. And then what I do, then I go to the next grip. So then it's the neutral grips. And again, I do 5 slow pull-ups. Okay, so again, that's a little bit of my exercise routine. So on my channel, what I'm going to be speaking about is, again, like I said, mental health, physical health, why I do the exercise I do, why I take the supplements I take, why I do the practices that I do. So I hope that this is beneficial and informative to some of you by watching my process of trial and error. I explain the process I've been through, what works for me, what doesn't work for me. Everyone's different, so it probably won't be the same for you. But yeah, it's all about just learning about yourself, learning what works best for you, and then just going all in once you know what that is. Okay, so did our little morning exercise, got that all out of the way. So now we're moving on to actually getting to start our AI work for the day. So again, like I kind of explained earlier, I'm going to be migrating everything from ChatGPT to GenSpark. And basically what I want to highlight here is the importance of the way of thinking, or your required train of thought when it comes to utilizing and making the most out of AI platforms. Basically what I've realized, it's all about kind of like integrated thinking in a way that you have your idea or task you want to accomplish, but you have multiple different AI systems that you run it through then. So like I always like to start off with ChatGPT again because it's more conversational. Then I'll take the prompt that I've created with ChatGPT and put it into the relevant program that will be able to optimize how it performs that task. So for example, I often create a prompt with ChatGPT that I use with Gemini. And what I do specifically, what I use Gemini for, which is Google's AI platform, is a lot of the time, like that's the thing nowadays, is we live in the age of information. If you go on social media, depending on obviously what your interests are, you're going to get all the information that aligns with your interests. So I've had multiple different search feeds on my social media. Like a couple years ago, it was just sporting stuff. I kind of got a lot into basketball and American football. Not that I ever played any of it. I just enjoyed staying up to date with what was happening because they're very fast-paced sports. I really like how American sports work in terms of those respects. Then it moved to camera gear, and now it's AI. And because AI is moving so freaking rapidly, every day there's like 10 new platforms that you'll find on your social media, specifically if you follow influencers in the world of AI. So what I've been doing is, specifically when I see a carousel post, I'll screenshot every picture in the carousel post. I'll then create a prompt for Gemini that I'll attach with the pictures, and then it will basically write those all out for me. I'll feed that back into ChatGPT, and I'll tell it to update its knowledge base with that information. Similarly with YouTube videos. So this is also where the whole systems thinking of AI comes into place. So initially, I was taking YouTube links, putting them into Gemini, asking for a transcript. Then Gemini says that I can't create an actual transcript because for whatever reason, I don't remember exactly why it couldn't. So then I had to go through multiple iterations with ChatGPT to alter the prompts, see if it provided me with the correct output and what I was looking for. So then what I got to at the end was basically creating a prompt that said that Gemini needs to watch the video. It needs to retain all of the details, every back and forth, but it needs to put it in its own words. So in this way, it worked around Gemini's not having the ability to get the actual transcript from the YouTube video. So then, instead of having to watch a multiple-hour YouTube video or podcast explaining how to, specifically for the videos I've been watching, how to harness AI platforms, what are the new AI platforms, how to get into the prompt engineering mindset, all of those sort of things, I just now paste the title into the prompt that I've created with ChatGPT, and then Gemini spits out a couple-page, fully detailed recap of that YouTube video. I then feed it straight into ChatGPT. I get it to update its knowledge base. And in that way, I didn't have to be able to learn everything from the podcast, for example. There's also, again, we're getting so much new information coming through at all times of the day. So it's almost impossible to retain it all, again, unless you create a whole learning system of learning in certain times of the day, creating review processes, exercises, and all of that, which I don't have the time for. And again, with the world moving so quick, unless you're able to create these systems in your own life that help you to harness the power of these platforms, you're just really going to be going through this like negative feedback loop. So yeah, I just wanted to stress the importance of being able to facilitate a new way of thinking, being able to alter your mindset to acquire this new thought process. And basically, like if you're someone like me, I've always thought I'm not creative because I can't draw, I can't do art, I can't do those sort of things. But since I've learned how to harness these platforms, AI has become my outlet for my creativity. It's so refreshing. Every day I wake up with so much excitement of what I can learn and how I can create new systems that ultimately help me become more efficient in my day-to-day life. And it's just been so much fun. What I've realized is I love learning. What AI has also taught me is to be okay with failures. Everything's a learning process. That's why I'm also trying to create these videos so I can teach you through my trial and error or the failures I've had so far with trying to integrate these systems. Like I've said in previous videos, I've wasted so much money on subscription. I live in South Africa. It's a third world country. Our salaries are not very high. Most of my friends work on the yachts, which that's the one way that a younger person in South Africa can make money, but it's also very fixed to a certain demographic. I fit into that demographic, but I didn't want to subject myself to gnarly physical labor for financial success. I rather wanted to see what I can do within South Africa and specifically with content creation. So yeah, I've spoken a lot right now. I haven't actually started a single thing that I said I was gonna do here. I've got here the AI Drive within GenSpark. Just from my conversation yesterday, that's what's so awesome about this platform. It's already created all the folders that I need. It's created one for prompt agents, one for content systems, one for workflows, one for business, and one for genetics and for my book of life. And now that I'm actually seeing this folder structure, a lot of what I was actually going to do today in terms of just creating one folder has now been influenced by what I see here. So I'm going to follow their structure. I'm going to work with ChatGPT. I'm going to populate all these folders, and then hopefully GenSpark will become the platform, the new platform that helps me unlock my creativity even further. But yeah, I was so hesitant to start working with AI. Now I don't know where my life would be without AI. So I know a lot of people out there are very hesitant to get into the world of AI. AI is using up a lot of the world's resources at the moment, which a lot of people think it's going against sustainability. But I find that AI and the potentials that it can unlock of humanity will ultimately help us to fix a lot of the environmental detriments that humanity has had on the environment. So yeah, just look at AI with an open mindset as a way for you to unlock your creativity, for a way for you to make money in this modern, again, creator and agentic society that it seems to be starting to move into. So yeah, it's exciting. Once you try it out, once you get familiar with a platform like ChatGPT, you'll start to learn about all the possibilities it can unlock and how it can change your life for the better. So let me get stuck in and I'll catch up with you here a little bit later. Fuck yes. So it happened. GenSpark's the one. GenSpark is the way to go. I've just learned that. I have just finished migrating everything I've created with ChatGPT across to GenSpark, and I ran the master prompt. That's the prompt that I start off every conversation with so that it primes the AI platform to read all of the documents in its knowledge files, which in the case of GenSpark, it doesn't call it knowledge files, but it calls it AI docs. So I have populated the AI docs section with, I'll tell you, the AI Drive, so not AI docs. So I've got content systems, I got workflows, I got my social media profile analysis, I've got the onboarding prompts, which has the master prompt, my activation prompt, and my onboarding prompt, which tells it how to digest all of the documents. I've got documents, I've got business documents, I've got prompt engineering documents, all the other like random miscellaneous documents I've created on other AI platforms. I got an ideas folder, I got a journals folder, I got a chat exports folder, because what I've done with ChatGPT is, like I said, I like to run my ideas through there first because it's the most conversational platform. So what I will do is, when I have an idea, I'll unpack it with ChatGPT. Even though ChatGPT doesn't have as much extensive research capabilities, then I've programmed in a shortcut to ChatGPT that I just send the words export chat, and it sends a entire transcript from that entire conversation. It can summarize it slightly, but it has to retain all of the key information from that chat. So then what I can do is I can have my chats with ChatGPT. I can chat to it all day. I can then export the chat and upload it straight here to GenSpark. And then GenSpark is perfectly up to date with where I am currently. It has access to all of my past conversations through the chat export feature. Then I have my Book of Life folder, which is a couple 100-page document of basically everything I've spoken to ChatGPT about my life. I've been very open and honest on ChatGPT, which anyone should be. I don't know why you'd feel like you need to hide something. And then I got a genetics folder. And then basically what I did was, here I started my conversation. So the master prompt document that I created was a little bit too long to fit into a single message. So what I've done is to start off every conversation, I add in the master prompt document, and then I add in my actual prompt, which is command execute master prompt instructions, which are attached. And then in the master prompt, it tells it how to then go into the folders, read the onboarding and activation prompts, and then how to digest all of the information within it. So then its response was, and this is exactly what I was hoping for, and I got it first time. It says, I'll read and fully digest the master prompt. And then it says master prompt ingested. I love that word, ingested. It tells you it's read it, but it doesn't tell you suggestions or recommendations. I fucking hate that when ChatGPT says, do you want to do this now? And do you want to do this? No, I told you a task. Let's stick with that fucking task. Why do you have to change things like that all the time? So it said master prompt ingested, full spectrum role activation and framework embedding applied, operating parameters, Dylan 3.0, master operator mode active, all AI docs, folders and subfolders recursively ingested, all my prompting frameworks embedded, dynamic role management enabled. So what I've done is I've plugged in the roles and sub roles that the GPT will have to fall into. Sorry, not GPT, the AI will have to fall into to help me accomplish all of my tasks. It has dynamic role management enabled, so it can dynamically switch between roles, all shortcuts recognized and active. So like if I say, hey bro, that's the activation phrase, all of the things like export chats and stuff. And it says asset first, response mode engaged, ready for your next prompt. Then I said, bro, so I just used this prompt to see if you would execute everything perfectly, which you have. I'm really excited to start working together. Then it said, Dylan 3.0, master operator activated. All AI doc folders and subfolders recursively ingested, prompt frameworks embedded, full subrole spectrum loaded and ready for dynamic switching and spawning. So what I've also programmed in there is that, like I told you, I have all these roles and sub-roles. So when there is a sub-role needed that's not included in the list that I've created, it will dynamically create the sub-role needed to help me accomplish my task. So basically today is a culmination of all my work and hard hours spent learning all of these AI systems. So I start off with ChatGPT. I've used Claude, fucking hate it. Or it uses up way too many credits for small work. Gemini, love it. Gemini is great. I'll always use Gemini in my workflow now together with GenSpark and ChatGPT. Then what are the other platforms I've used? All the app building ones suck. Emergent sucks. Rock.com's the one good one I found. Lovable, nothing, wasted money. Replit, wasted fucking money. Fuck. I've just wasted so much fucking money to get to this point. And that's what I was saying like earlier today, how you've actually got to invite failure into your life. Because I actively, at first, it was very disheartening. Trying a new platform, it fails. I spend all this money. Now, that is all a learning process. Every single platform that I've tried and it didn't work, I now have the ability to recommend to you guys what's worth pursuing, what's not worth pursuing, what's worth the money, what's not worth the money. Because that's what I find is like maybe a space in terms of the AI creators and influencers is they just pushing out what's the newest platform. They just saying, oh, this new one came out today. This one came out today. And there's like fucking 5 to 10 platforms that are coming out every single day. But hopefully I can help to bridge that gap, give you real world and practical advice on how to use the AI platforms to enhance your creativity, enhance your work output. So again, I'm fucking stoked. This is the point I needed to get to in my work because again, now my workflows are solidified. I can focus on creating, filming, because luckily, while I'm working for Cape Town's most wanted 4x4 at the moment, they've been moving into a new showroom over the past month and a half. So I haven't been able to actually do quite as much work as I've needed to on the monthly retainer that I'm on, but it's allowed me the ability to learn all of these AI platforms, literally grind balls to the wall, 6-8 hours a day, sitting on my computer, learning all these platforms, and it's finally fucking paid off. I cannot express how stoked I am right now. But yeah, hopefully you can feel my enthusiasm through the computer, and I hope this inspires you to dive into the world of AI. Again, now you can feel free to message me. Don't waste your money on these fucking subscriptions. Hit me up and I'll help you get sorted. That's what I'm actually thinking could be a potential career is doing AI consultancy, not in terms of business stuff, but just for like the everyday people that want to use AI to unlock their creativity and efficiency. So yeah, again, I am I can't even. I'm like vibrating. I'm so excited right now that I've finally all the painstaking hours that I've put in, all the money I've wasted, all the excuses I've used to justify the money and time I spent on all these things has finally fucking paid off. And this is just gonna skyrocket all the possibilities that I have for myself at the moment. So yeah, hope this inspires you. I hope this is a reason for you to go out and learn AI. And again, if you need any help or advice, hit me up. I'm not gonna let you waste money on stupid subscriptions. Let's fucking kill this together.